But there's some similarities here. Let me show you some similarities in this other rock star. These are all rock stars. So these are issues that we all have to deal with, right? But because they are rock stars, things are magnified. The same issues are magnified. Okay, don't act like, oh, what they're dealing with we don't deal with. No, that's cap. Okay, we deal with the same issues they deal with. It's just theirs are a little bit more magnified. Here's the commonality between them. Okay, the story I was just listening when I was hanging out with Stella and Osayame inside of Clubhouse with some other friends is that this lady used to manage Chris Brown. She was an industry lady. Jada, the lady with Wizkid. Wizkid is a Nigerian rock star. And I was just learning some few minutes before I started the show was that she was in fact, some industry lady who managed Chris Brown, and she's a beautiful girl, right? So what happened? Of course, Wizkid is able to talk to this beautiful, beautiful girl, right? Like this fine ass chick, right? He's feeling like a king. Oh, what's your tea, really? This kind, you can get this kind of money in Surulere now, of course, right? Surulere, right? Wizkid is Atapata Dide. Wizkid is, a regular young man, grew up in Lagos, right? Now he has all this money, and all this money will attract certain calibers, type of girls. Beautiful girls, smell good. Like you have to be. It's almost impossible to not fall for this type of chicks or to not feel better than you actually are when you attract this type of chicks, right? But by the time you find out, it's too late. That's, all right. The whole effect of all that money that attract this type of chicks is watered down. Like everything else gets old. Is it Range Rover? It gets old. Is it Barkins bag? It gets old. Is it that lifestyle in the mansion? Everything gets old. Okay? Then the true self will come out, right? Can you handle that true self? Now that true self is also going to be magnified because you're in all this big old space, high ceilings, everything, right? It's a lonely world at the top still, right? He fell in love with this young. So to me, there's just a higher, when you fall in love in this space where you're highly successful, there's a higher chance that you're not able to experience real love because it's not something you think. It's just the natural order of things. It's almost like money can buy. At that space, you feel like money can buy anything. And that's false, right? That's false, right? Money can buy a lot, right? But again, so less than 2 weeks ago, he came out, or a few days ago, he said he's single, right? And a lot of people has been suspecting that there's tension in their situation. In between their relationship, he's had babies with other people, it looks like, So when you think about this kind of chick, she's also powerful in her own right. She used to manage Chris Brown. They're going to bump heads. When they bump heads, you think they're going to say, let's go do therapy? You really think that? They might. The chances are is almost none, right? So that's an example of people, when it comes to money or clout playing a role, it magnifies everything, right? Money, clout, attention, a sense of significance or over significance or grandiose, right? Pride. Remember, pride is, so it comes down to pride. But guess what? At this level, this pride is egotistical at another level of worry by itself, right? It's almost impossible. Okay, it's just almost impossible to keep a home together, to keep a relationship together long term when you have this kind of elements in it, right? So does that mean you shouldn't chase after money? No, I'm saying be aware. As always, be aware. If you're a woman of a certain status, okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Obodo fam that are here right now, assertive, doctorate degree, multiple times over, those things are all beautiful. They're all beautiful, right? But they're going to play a role in your relationship. But when you're aware of what kind of roles they will play, you will mitigate the risk. Okay, you have a better chance of mitigating the risk. And no, you can't blame it on the man's ego alone. I know that's the easiest direction to go. Like, why can't this man just be secure? Listen, we're all insecure to a large extent, all of us, right? It's just a matter of the right circumstances to pull out these insecurities, right? So you're not saying anything new, right? Effectively, you would discombobulate your own relationship if you're not aware. Okay, you will have more than enough people and things to blame it on, guaranteed. I'm just saying, the result you create is what you will create. So that's Wizkid right there. Let's talk about. Let me make this a little bigger so you guys can see. Yeah, let's talk about Usher. Right? No, not this one yet. This one first. Right? He got married to his stylist. Right? Usher has been falling in love with. Remember this one? Or the lady from TLC? Not T-Boss, not Lisa, but what's her name? How come it's skipping me right now? She's Chili. Yeah, Chili. Right? So, hey, listen. When I was younger, yes, I was attracted to, to older ladies too, If they're beautiful, they're fit, feminine, and what is it again? Friendly, right? Tony Braxton's, okay? There's no surprise here. My wife knows this. Tony Braxton, yeah, that's my crush forever and ever, right? So, but when you have money, you have status. If you're Usher, if you've been Usher since you were 14, 13 years old, right? These older ladies are gonna say, he's fine, right? And guess what do you think that's going to do to a little boy? Same thing. He's like, I'm in love. Right? Right? He's literally going to become the woman in that situation, right? So he has a track record clearly. But yes, he ended up marrying somebody that's much older than him. Had 2 babies. His children today are from this young lady. I think he had 3. One passed away at one point, right? I think so. Right? Happy Kappa. He was happy. Wasn't he happy? Smiling from left to eyes to... I think she was his manager after the fact, but she was the stylist at first. She was a stylist while the mom was the manager. The mom was the manager first and she was a stylist. And he fell out with his mother after... I'm not sure if she ever became the manager. I'm not sure. She might have become the manager at some point. But this one was the manager. This one right here. This lady right here. This was the most recent one that he divorced from. She's beautiful too. Right? I mean, all these guys can get girls from anywhere. But somehow you're seeing some patterns here, right? The powerful, she was the manager. Right? You see the patterns here? The pattern here is that money is a beautiful thing. That's all I'm saying, okay? Money, clout. Listen, we can't build anything, including this channel, without clout, quote unquote. Attention. We can't, okay? You need attention. That's the bottom line. If you're going to build a business, you need attention. Listen, you do, okay? But attention and money also tend to magnify not just your lifestyle in a good way, but it magnifies all the toxic stuff that you come with as a human being. Okay? You will be dragged in these streets with those toxic stuff. They will come out. So, the earlier you realize this, you're aware of this, right? When you start achieving some success, you're able to say, hey, I'm human like everybody else. This obviously injects my ego a little bit. This success, a little bit of success here, right, will inject my ego. I enjoyed, like my first massive success I enjoyed at the age of 26. I'm almost about to say it's a bad idea, okay, because of the experience I've had since then, right? The ups and downs. You're that young, you experience the level of success I'm talking about. It's just impossible for you not to hurt yourself. But I can't stop people from wanting early success, right? And I'm not regretting any of the experience. I'm just letting you know the reality of this, of all these things. It has nothing to do with right and wrong. We're human beings. That's all I'm trying to say. Be aware that you're a human, that you're a human being at the end of the day, right? If you're a celebrity, it gets magnified, right? So you attract all these beautiful women. Money is a big part. We can't cap about that. Money is a big reason why he attracted this. Now, this one was a little like, I think he was much more attracted. She's okay, but you know, but this lady was always around him as a stylist, as a young one, right? He fell in love. Okay, all right. So now, what does this has to do with Davido? Right? Davido, OBO, Omo Baba Lowo. Yes, Tamika Harris. Yes, right. What does this have to do with Davido? Davido sadly lost a child some few weeks ago. A very, very sad situation. I intentionally didn't cover it because, I don't know what to. That's some scary stuff for me, to be honest with you. The only thing I could do is like, damn, that I felt that, yeah, and considering that he's lost a few close people in recent times. One of the guys in this camp, about two of his guys in this camp, listen, this one BC Taje, right? The pie thing, right? Just the imagination of it kills us as human beings, right? How much more you're experiencing it back to back to back. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. Okay. Now, before all of that happened, when he actually released the song Assurance, right? It's authentic. In my opinion, that was authentic. They seem authentic. They're in love. Because it really is Davido. He doesn't have to do all that stuff. He doesn't have to get with one girl and be flunking out all over. It seems authentic. But let me tell you something about most people that end up in divorce court. They're all authentic. I know you didn't want to hear that. They're just all bad people. They didn't vet properly. You should have vetted properly.
Stop the cap.
They're all authentic. Not all. Majority of them. It's only minority that you can point at the type of stories we like to cover, that we like to watch, the toxic stuff, the DV stuff. That's minority still. The number one reason that you see everywhere, I think they call it a different name in the UK, is irreconcilable differences. What does that even mean, right? That means people fell out of love. They grew apart. What does that even mean? Exactly. Good people, right, just didn't know how to communicate anymore. They don't know how to do relationships. And they have resentment. They have a hard time forgiving each other. They can't get past it. The grass seems greener on the other side. And they call it quits. Can I manipulate them to stay in it? No. That's not healthy. Because if you don't like to be in it, don't be in it, right? But that's the reality, okay? The sense of duty and responsibility part of marriage is gone. People have options. People have choices. Not just the woman, the man. We like to point out just the woman. Okay? So, this has nothing to do with if they're authentic. I think they're authentically in love. And I'm saying this so that maybe you find yourself in this situation and you put yourself on a pedestal because you went through about 2 months of premarital counseling and you feel like you're immune suddenly. No, you're not. No, you're not. Okay? In fact, the more you feel that way, the worse it's going to get because it's going to come for you from the blind spot. It's an ongoing thing. You have to remain a student of this thing for the rest of your life. It takes a lot of humility to do that. Now, if you think about money, right, and clout, and attention, significance, all of these things that we know that Davido has access to, right? Like, listen, if Davido is in Usher State right now celebrating with his uncle. If he wants to be in Atlanta tomorrow, it's just a chartered jet. He could be right there. That there's nothing more certain than that, right? Varieties, anything you want. What do you want? There's money everywhere. If it's even is a woman, variety, he has access to all of that. Significance. Are we going to argue that Davido is not significant in 2022 with your father? Connection. He can connect with as many people, or at least temporary connection. He can feel connected to as many chicks as he wants. But slow down. We can tell that he's very much connected to this chick, Chioma. We can tell that he enjoys it. He enjoys spending time with her, right? Growth. This one is a little tricky because he has everything in life that most people would never be able to achieve. So for him to find a space where he will say he needs some level of growth, it's going to take extra effort on his part. But maybe because of all these life experiences around all these people that were sadly deleted around him, maybe he can find it. Maybe that can give him strength to achieve that, right? Contribution. Everybody knows that this guy is a giver. That's one of the things that they love about him. He gives. Like it's obvious, right? But what's the point I'm driving at here? The point I'm driving at here is this. If you are a Davido and you're in love and you're young and you have access to everything, you even have to be much more careful than everybody else because there's blind spots everywhere. Humility is going to be key in all of this. That's something you have to be aggressive with. Humility. You have to be aggressively humble. That means you're always saying, I don't know shit. There's something I don't know. Not to the point where you're paranoid about life, right? Just as within the space of humility, like, just always leave room that maybe there's something you don't know, right? Rushing into things is just not, it's a no-go area. I'm not saying they rushed into the situation with Chioma. Honestly, it doesn't matter if they got married now or not. The ground zero for everyone is the same. It's a journey that starts from the point you got married. Now you're about to start learning for real. So I'm not the one to say, hey, he should have waited. No, waiting doesn't really help anything. The only thing that can cause damages for them is pride at any point in the game, either in the beginning, in the middle, sweet in the middle, or later on. Pride would destroy everything 100% of the time. Okay? Pride is literally the cause of unrealistic expectations, number 3. Because obviously you think you know something that the other person should be doing based off of what you know about them, and suddenly when they fall apart and they're not doing it, you're surprised that they're human being, that they're just another human being, right? When in fact, in any scriptures or any holy book anywhere, they warned you about the idea of trusting human beings. You can't claim that you've never heard that before. Does that mean we don't need trust? No, you need trust, but you're gonna have to be a little bit more intentional with where your trust is coming from. Okay? Trust is 100% going to be earned. If you're in love, you feel like you trust somebody. No, you don't really know them. Okay? You just don't know them. Okay? So, friendship. It looks like they have friendship because it looks like they had a little situation and then they came back together. Friendship will make that happen. You need it. Right? Number 2, I don't know their love life, so I'm not going to speak about that. Right? But what I can tell you is that we have a lot more in common than we have in differences. Okay? Everyone is different. There's no formulas to this bullshit. That's pride talking. Okay? That's pride that make people say everyone is different. That's pride that's speaking right there. That's pride. Of course, we know that everyone's story is unique. How these things play out in people to people is unique. But to act like people haven't gone through what you're about to go through where you can learn from it, that's pride, precisely. And leads you to no wonder why we're where we are right now. The dating scene is funky. Everyone is filing for a divorce. Like, Oh, but you know, even though everyone is filing for divorce, afterward, everyone's life is different.
Stop the cap.
And that's pride. Okay? If there are no patterns and what you can learn from other people, other people's experiences, why would you ever go into marriage? How do you plan to make that work?
Need them and do it yourself.
How, Sway?
How do you plan to make that work if there's nothing you can learn from other people's experiences? How? God is going to come down and help you and just... You think you're going to get away with that? You're going to make children in that and you're not going to make the society worse for everyone? Let's be guided. So I think Davido is going to be fine as long as he understands that the lesson starts now and it's forever. Right? It's going to be much difficult for him. It's a man of means. He doesn't have to bow to nothing. So humility is going to be something that he has to be aggressive with.